Hi guys, this is Connie. I am super excited about this video because we are starting Gary Paulson's Lawn Boy Returns. I loved Lawn Boy and I'm really looking forward to going through this with you. So this is the introduction and chapter 1. Let's see, so we have Lawn Boy is back. The summer I was 12, mowing lawns with Grandpa's old riding mower turned into big business. With advice from Arnold the stockbroker, I learned all about making money. 6 weeks and hundreds of $1,000s later, life got more complicated. You see, the prize fighter I sponsor, Powie Joe, won a big fight, and a TV interview made me famous. As Arnold says, capitalism plus publicity equals monster commerce. Even my best friends wanted a piece of the action. Meanwhile, some scary guys showed up at Joey's gym. Gary Paulson's funny follow-up to Lawn Boy is full of big surprises and big laughs. And we already read that part in the last one. Ooh, that's chapter 2. We're going to jump right into chapter 1 with a foreword. I don't have a clue how all this will end. There are people who say I'm a wonder boy, one who got jinxed, or that I knew some secret, which I fumbled, or that I had this big hairy plan. Nope. One minute I was 12 years old and wondering where I could get enough money for an inner tube for my old used 10-speed. And the next minute I'm a financial prodigy with my own business and a bunch of people working for me and a stockbroker and a prize fighter of my very own. The minute after I've got tax problems and employee difficulties and threats of lawsuits and greedy relatives no one's ever heard of before, and I'm sick to death of being rich. 6 weeks ago, I inherited my grandfather's old lawnmower and came up with a wild plan of making $7,500 over the 12 weeks of summer if I worked all day every day mowing lawns. At the time, it seemed like a staggering amount of money. Half a summer into my plan, after working really hard partnering up with another lawn guy and lucking into Arnold, a customer on my route who was also a genius stock wizard on a hot streak, I was suddenly worth $480,000 from business expansion and stock investments that were, for the most part, happy accidents. For a little while, it seemed like everything I touched turned to gold. That was the good part. But then for a little while, it seemed like everything I touched turned to compost. That was the bad part. I'd better explain. It all began at 9 in the morning on a day in late July when my grandmother showed up with Joey Powell and his brand new long-lost cousin Zed. Chapter 1, titled The Origins of Economic Collapse. I sponsor a great prize fighter, Joseph Powdermilk Jr. His nickname is Joey Powell. My grandmother is the kind of person who always thinks the best of everyone. She's also very big on family. So when this guy, Zed, approached Grandma and Joey at the gym and said, "Hey Joey, it's Zed, your second cousin once removed," Grandma was thrilled. Joey couldn't hear what the guy was saying because his ears were still ringing from his sparring partner's accidental haymaker. Cousin Zed threw his arm around the still reeling Joey. "I'm one of your dad's stepbrother Sam's boys from his second or maybe his third marriage. Could be the 7th one. Hard to keep track of Sam. He's always been what you call a bad boy. Got a real taste for the ladies." Grandma beamed at Joey and Joey got all excited because Grandma looked so happy. Grandma hugged Zed and then Zed hugged Joey and bam, faster than one of Joey's knockouts, Zed had weaseled himself into becoming part of Joey's family. Over the past few weeks, Grandma and Joey had developed a great and unusual friendship, even though they don't appear to have much in common. She speaks really fast and he talks really slowly. He's enormous and powerful. She's small and gentle. But they're both early birds, which is great because Joey likes to do his workouts at the gym in the morning and Grandma likes to drink coffee and read the newspaper there to the sound of uppercuts to the chin and body punches. Grandma's learned a lot about boxing recently. I walked in on one of Joey's training sessions the other day and saw her shadow boxing in the corner. She's been pestering Joey to teach her to faint and jab. Oh, to fent and jab. Joey likes to have someone look after him, fussing about whether or not he's getting enough sleep and eating enough fiber and all those other grandmotherly things. That morning, before Zed appeared, my mom and dad had left town for a few days to look at lakefront property up north. Arnold had told us that investing some of my earnings in land would be a good idea. Grandma was staying at our house to keep an eye on me while they were gone, so after Joey's workout, she brought Joey and Zed back to my house. Zed's broken-down pickup truck towed an ancient camper. He parked next to Joey's old station wagon in our driveway. Grandma is amazing and fun, but there are times when she makes no sense. Still, if you think really hard, you can usually figure out what she means. When she said, "I have always despised the taste and texture of olives," and gestured to this dirty, hairy Zed person as he climbed out of his truck, I couldn't figure out what Zed and olives had in common, but I got a bad feeling. I think I have a good sense of whether or not a person can be trusted. For instance, I knew right off the bat that Arnold, my stockbroker, and Pasquale, my lawn mowing business partner, were good guys. And even though Joey Powell is large and slightly terrifying in appearance, I appreciated his good qualities immediately. I didn't get the same vibe from Zed. "Good to meet ya." Zed stuck his hand out, and I forced myself to shake his grubby paw. "Your granny told me how you sponsor Joey." "I did?" Grandma looked a little perplexed. "Oh well, it's like I always say, people who are cut from the same cloth can't see the forest for the trees." "I know a little something about the boxing biz." Zed threw a few fake punches and zipped his feet back and forth like he was bobbing and weaving to avoid an opponent in the ring. Grandma beamed at him. Joey wasn't paying any attention. He was petting the neighbor's cat. Next to the cat, Joey looked, as always, ginormous. I turned back to Zed, who had made himself comfortable in my mother's lawn chair. He leaned back, farted once, burped twice, and gave a mighty scratch in an area most parents urge toddlers not to touch in public. Charming. I moved upward once and caught a whiff of him. "So, where do you live?" I thought he was talking, not him. "So, where do you live?" I asked. "Oh, you know, here and there. I was passing through town. I heard about my cousin Joey from a buddy." "Uh-huh. What exactly did you hear?" "I heard Joey's getting ready for a big fight. Bruiser bulk. Ain't he the upper Midwest heavyweight champ? From what I hear, Joey's got a shot at taking the title." I looked over at Grandma and Joey. She put her hands up in front of her face, and Joey was very gently tapping them with loose fists as she taunted him. "Is that all you got? Come on, let me see speed and power." Never mind that if Joey so much as flicked her with his forefinger and thumb, he'd propel her into next week. I looked back at Zed, who had been studying me with the same look that I see in the neighbor's cat's eyes when she's watching baby birds learning to fly. I heard how you got stinking rich this summer." Zed smiled, and I got a chill down my spine when I saw his teeth. They looked like he'd sharpened them with a file. Ew. I thought, I'm not the only one who needs someone to keep an eye on them for the next few days. "So, what do you do for a living?" You know, this and that. I'm between jobs now, and it seems to me Joey could use a good corner man. And who's better to have on your side than family? Plus, I don't go all squeamish at the sight of blood and guts." "Uh-huh." "Hey, bud," Zed looked around and noticed. "You got a nice spread. Figure I can park my rig here. The parking lot at Joey's place don't have much room." "You could, probably stay here while you're in town for a few days, I guess, because Joey's real busy getting ready for the fight. And I'd rather have you where I can see you," I silently finished. Looking out for Joey's interests was part of my sponsorship responsibilities. "That's real sporting of you, pal. Don't mind if I do." Zed looked way too happy about the chance to park in our driveway. I broke up Grandma and Joey's boxing lessons. "Zed's gonna park here for a few days. Grandma didn't seem to be bothered that we had just brought down the property values of the entire neighborhood by offering to host this rusted out piece of garbage. Meanwhile, Joey helped Zed plug in the world's longest extension cord from his camper to our garage. Then Joey took off for his mid-morning training session. Not to be confused with his early morning workout, and of course, nothing like his late morning weightlifting. Grandma went inside to rest her eyes. That's what she calls taking a nap. And Zed, after blowing his nose without using a tissue, sending a snot rocket into the perfectly mowed lawn, thumped up the step into his rig and started to fry up some roadkill he scraped off the interstate. At least that's how it smelled. And that was how the bad part started. And that's the end of chapter 1. Okay. This is gonna get interesting. Be careful with that and enjoy. Please and thank you, and I will see you for the next installment. Have a great one. Bye.